I'm Leighton Dean, and today I'm here with Centerville High School Athletic Director, Mr. Hahn. So the first question I have for you today is, was the switch from athlete to coaching fairly easy, or did you ever catch yourself wishing you could go back and play?
Athlete to coach, that was sort of easy. But the hardest thing as a coach that you learn very quickly is you're not in control of everything.
Yeah.
And when you're an athlete, you know, you're lining up. The race is going to come down to your effort, your preparation, you know, the usual stuff. But when you're a coach standing on the fence watching others, once the race starts, you're really not in control. So that was challenging, nerve-wracking, and you know, a little bit of anxiety because you want to go out there and try to coach the kid every single step they take and help them out, but you just can't do that. At some point, you've prepared them and you have to step back and say, okay, the work is done. You need to leave them alone and let them do their thing. So that was a hard part, switching from athlete to coach, is I was in less control than I wanted to be. But it ended up working out because you see other things that you do as an athlete that I'm glad I don't have to do anymore. So.
And then what made you feel like you could see yourself at Centerville High School?
Centerville's outstanding. I mean, everyone knows it, you know, statewide. So I think the level of commitment from the community is a big appeal. The expectation of excellence is an appeal for me. Being an athlete, you know, that part never left me, wanting to be the best. And even if you fall short, you know, you still end up pushing yourself to a higher level. And so as a coach and now athletics director, I see that all over Centerville. Yeah. Kids pushing themselves, parents, the community, admin, staff, teachers. You know, there is an expectation of excellence, and I love that. And so that's what gets me excited, is I can go to a place where we're all on the same page. So when I'm pushing for things to get done, people understand the vision and they support it because they also want Centerville to be known as a center of excellence, as I like to say. So that's where I saw myself fitting in, you know, very, very quickly, and it's been great. I think I'm just shy of a year, but I've enjoyed, you know, all of my interactions with everyone in the community, from fans to boosters, donors, the teachers and students, of course. But it's a special place.
Yeah, that's amazing. I coached at many high-level collegiate schools like UC, Illinois, Florida State, and Texas A&M. And obviously every program is different in their own ways. What did you take from all these programs that you still incorporate into your career today?
Well, you learn a lot everywhere you go. I think even from some of the things that you don't think went well, you learn from that the most, in my opinion. But, you know, all of those universities, you know, they strive to be the best. They want to win championships. They want to be nationally ranked, win a national championship. But I think what I learned was, I think if I summarized, there's no one way to do it. Florida State did it quite a bit different than Texas A&M. And both have a lot of success historically. And Cincinnati and Illinois, they do things different. But there's no one way. Really, you have to find what fits your core values, what fits your philosophy and leadership, and stick to that. You don't have to try to conform and contort yourself into something that you're not to be successful. That's a big trap. So seeing so many different leadership styles at all these different places and how we were able to win, and when we did fall short of our goals, it wasn't because we didn't emulate someone else well enough, or we didn't copy someone else well enough. You know, there were things that we could fix. We could get better at doing it our way.
So what are some goals that you have set for Centerville, and how do you plan to achieve them? And like with that, how can the student body help you achieve these goals?
To me, Centerville should be known really statewide and potentially nationwide, but within the region as the center of excellence. And I mean, Elk Pride Never Dies is a real thing, and people breathe that, they live it, you know, they don't just say it. I see it every day. You know, people graduate from college and they want to move back to Centerville, you know, and that tells you a lot, you know, so it's a special place. So I want it to continue to be, because it's already been that way, but I want to take it a step further to be the center of excellence, but also the center of engagement. Sports brings people together in a very unique way that you don't see in any other way worldwide. You know, it's from all walks of life, you know, young, old, all demographics. They can unite with the common goal of supporting their athletics. You know, the city of Cincinnati, when the Bengals won and beat the Browns. Any Browns fans, I don't feel sorry for you. But, you know, the Bengals won and the whole city's excited. You know, that's a cool thing to watch. And so Centerville, you see that as well. When, Friday night is a packed house. That's the largest crowd we have is for the sport of football. And to see fans that are in their 70s all the way down to toddlers, and they're all there together, uniting and chanting and cheering, that's a special thing. And so I want to capitalize on that more, where we can bring the community together more and be united towards different goals. And sports can help achieve a lot. The last thing is also making sure that we take the opportunity in every sport to teach our student athletes life lessons, because it's going to teach you in ways that you may not get in the classroom.
Yeah.
And so it is part of the educational system, where you have fourth quarter shots that create a lot of pressure. And if you miss the shot, the team loses. If you make the shot, the team wins. And that can prepare you for high pressure deadlines when you get your first job.
Yeah.
We need you to get this task complete by such and such. The team is pretty much on your back, and you have to lead that project, and what that pressure feels like, and being able to handle that, and how you resort back to your preparation, your training, your teaching is the same as reverting back to your coaching, and knowing that your team has your back and that you're in it together, and they're going to hold you up, you're fighting for each other. Those are how to win, how to lose. Yeah. And how to fight back and keep your head in the game when there's all these distractions around in the crowd or the opposing team trying to distract you. Those are all life lessons that you absolutely take into the real world when you graduate and leave sports behind. So I want to make sure that we're equipping our young student athletes better than anybody else around us, and we take a lot of pride in that. So long answer to your question, but
yeah.
A lot of goals to make sure Centerville is looked at as the place where nobody takes better care of their kids than us.
In 2001, you were the Conference USA champion in the 400-meter hurdles, and you were named the team's most valuable player. What pressure came with those titles, and what kept you motivated when it felt overwhelming?
That was a long time ago. It was a fun time. I think the pressure, eventually, like I said, you get used to realizing that if you're prepared, you control what you can control. You cannot control the outcome. And the hardest battle that I fought as a collegiate athlete was thinking that I can control all the outcomes if I tried harder and harder. And then you just give yourself anxiety and frustration. And more often than not, the outcome is not in your control, but the preparation is in your control. And if you just focus on that, I'm a man of faith, so I pull on that a lot, that, God's going to back me up and the right result is going to play out as long as I do my part. And so you prepare, and you leave it at that. You can't obsess over the outcome. You're taking the test, you study your tail off, and make sure that you check every box. And then when the test is in front of you, getting worked up over it's not going to help. Obsessing over what grade you're going to get is not going to help. You just answer question one, and you pull on your preparation from studying, right? So understanding that concept was big for me, to where the pressure didn't really bother me too much. And I had a lot of support from my teammates, knowing that they had my back, and if we do pull it off and win the championship, that it was going to help create a lot of lifelong memories and bonds, and so that motivated me to push through the hard stuff, and we were able to get it done.
You got a degree in criminal justice at UC. Was that a career path you plan on taking after college, and then how did you find yourself in athletics?
Well, I thought about being a lawyer, and I wasn't, I was kind of finding my way in college, but I knew I had a passion for athletics. And so, at the time, not to date myself, but you didn't have sports management or sports marketing majors. They didn't really exist at most places back then, so I didn't exactly know what route to take. So athletics kind of pulled me in. I believe, God directed me to that when a volunteer coaching opportunity came about, and the late Bill Schneer, my mentor for most of my adult life, he said, hey, you can help your Bearcats and volunteer and coach, and you're a team captain, people listen to you, so come help us out, and I think it'll be fun. And I thought, well, why not? So I tried it out and fell in love with it. It clicked right away, and I could tell there's a thing to this. Leadership in athletics is a thing, and I embraced it. There was success. The kids did listen to me for some reason, which I appreciate. And the rest, as they say, is history. So that's how it all started, and I like I try to do with others. I found my finish line in my race, and I try to do that for others that are searching for theirs.
Yeah. And then we're just going to do some rapid fire questions. So which do you prefer, high school or collegiate coaching?
I've spent more time at the college level, so that has an unfair advantage. But what I will tell you is the kids are the same. They're really the same. High school, you get the younger version of silly teenagers, and then college, you get the older version of silly teenagers. And all of it's a joy, but really, they're the same people, just a different environment. Obviously, college, collegiate athletics, you have bigger budgets, and there's more pressure, and that can be fun. In high school, it's more educational, but at a place like Centerville, there's still also a bit of pressure and expectation. So, I wouldn't pick one over the other because I look at them as the same kid. You just get them a little earlier in high school.
Yeah. What's harder, finishing a criminal justice exam or the last 100 meters of a 400-meter hurdle?
The last 100 meters of a 400-meter hurdle race is insanity. That is definitely harder than any exam I think I've ever taken. Yeah, that wins hands down. You start questioning life at that point.
And then if you could go back and run one more race, what event would you choose?
I can tell you what I wouldn't choose, which is the 400-meter hurdles. I would probably say the 4x1. You have everybody running 100 meters, and they have to pass the baton at top speed, sharing a 42-inch lane, and then you have your competitors doing the same all around you. It's nothing but controlled chaos, but when you sync it up, it's like poetic. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to watch. Yeah. My second choice, which I'll cheat and give a second choice, is of course the high hurdles. They're 42 inches high, and you're running full speed into solid objects on purpose. Like, who does that in their rational mind? But when you do it right, it's a thing of beauty. It's like an art. You're covering it, in between every hurdle is basically a first down. It's like 9.14 meters. Yeah. That's still in my brain. But you're covering a first down in 3 steps over 42-inch barriers at near full speed. Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. So yeah. I would say those two.
Yeah. And then do you have any pregame rituals or superstitions? If so, what were they?
I wasn't big on superstition. My pregame meal, though, was a little weird. Just plain noodles. Just no sauce. I didn't know as a teenager in high school that if you trash your body with junk food all week long and then try to eat healthy the night before a competition, it doesn't quite work that way. So I would obsessively just eat like plain pasta the night before, and I thought I was doing something productive, and it was not effective, but I believed in it at the time.
Yeah. And then which is worse, a bus ride home after a bad meet as a coach or as an athlete?
As an athlete. Definitely as an athlete. I think you feel the weight of the world on your shoulders, and I think you overestimate failures and really their learning opportunities. I think as a coach, you kind of understand there's another opportunity, and you see the bigger picture better. As an athlete, you kind of hyper-focus on the moment, which is usually good, but sometimes it can be bad. But as a coach, you kind of know we'll fix it in practice. We have a plan, and we know the progression. It's okay. But as an athlete, if you have a bad day and that's a long bus ride home, I mean, it's just playing your mind over and over and over again. It's like torment. Yeah.
All right. Well, those are all the questions I have for you. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you, guys. And make sure you go to elksportsnetwork.com and check us out.
Yes.